is the man leading the Amistad project, Phil Klein. He's the director, and we are delighted, Phil, to have you with us. And I want to say, first of all, it's my understanding that you file suits now in 6 states. Is that correct?
Yes, we are in the process. We already have suits in 6 states, but we're filing more based on this new data.
And this new data is?
What we've put together is a series of decisions at the local level, by the way, funded and encouraged by the flow of $350 million of Mark Zuckerberg monies that allowed for the infusion of these questionable or fraudulent ballots into the stream to be counted. And the analysis through using government data, Lou, and then calling out to voters and asking them about their behavior, getting them to sign affidavits, is that in each one of these swing states, there are hundreds of thousands of votes in question, as you mentioned in Wisconsin. And in addition to the ballots you mentioned in Wisconsin, we've identified over 12,000 Republicans who voted whose votes were not counted according to the state's data. So what you had is $350 million coming in, the creation of all this Dropbox, consolidated counting centers in the urban core around the nation, Zuckerberg money paying the election judges and officials inside the rooms, and then Republicans in America kicked out of the counting room. And that can't stand and should not stand as a fair and integral election.
It is stunning how the left in this country has suddenly acquiesced, forgotten its responsibility, and is now ignoring these billionaire oligarchs, most of them from Silicon Valley and social media, big tech, who are trying desperately to take over this election and manipulate it. We heard the testimony of Dr. Robert Epstein again this summer, and now he's confirming that what he said is happened, that there was an effort by Google to sway the vote, and they succeeded at the very least, to the tune of 6 million voters. Your thoughts about the role of money here and what has to be done to stand up to that kind of corrupt influence?
Well, you said it, Lou, oligarchs. And there's 2 things that you need to do to control the country. You want to control the flow of information. Check. All the censorship, what Google did. And then you want to control the way a country selects its leaders. And that's really the unspoken story to the American people. Mark Zuckerberg's monies alone matched the federal government appropriation for elections this year. $400 million. Google also gave money to this effort. And we now have evidence pursuant to court order that they turn it over because they don't want to share this information with the American people. We have evidence that they actually told local election officials how to manage the election in these core Democrat areas where you see all the problems. That was Zuckerberg and a group called the Center for Tech and Civic Life telling them what to do. And I give you this thought. They told America we needed to consolidate counting centers. For COVID, we're going to create a crowd to protect us from COVID. That makes no sense. The reason they did it,
well, so much doesn't.
They want Republicans to see, and they wanted to infuse fraudulent ballots, and they did it.
Phil, I want to ask you as we're wrapping, because we heard from Paul Ryan, the former Speaker of the House, and the man who most people hold responsible for the Republicans losing control of the House in 2018, talking about how it's not good to question our elections and the lack of integrity in them because it just destroys our faith in democracy. I want to just hear what you think about suspending critical judgment when it comes to our electoral system. We got about 30 seconds. I'd just like to get your reaction.
Sure, I've never investigated anybody who wanted me to investigate them, but I would add this. You and I remember, Lou, the hanging chads and the dimpled chads because we
Yep.
were in the counting room. America has the right to be in the counting room. They boarded up the windows and kicked us out, and they put a billionaire in there. And we have to investigate why.
Phil Klein is doing just that, investigating. And Phil, we thank you very much for being with us. Look forward to